Okay, so whoever said that podcasting is some fun, fancy thing to do is a dirty liar, hands down. After doing my beginner's level research and drowning in, honestly, an overwhelming amount of information on like the best microphone to get and these absolutely necessary pop filters and all this software that I can't pronounce, I'm coming to you loud and proud from the floor of my closet, sitting in my underwear, just now deciding that I don't think I like the scent of the detergent that we use for our laundry. So yeah, there you go. The setting is set. As for the character and the loudmouth that you are all here to listen to, I'm Casey. I could give you my mini bio and tell you that I'm an influencer of sorts, almost always sporting some kind of bright unicorn hair that makes grandmothers everywhere cringe, and actually living a pretty damn good life. Can't complain, really big into gratitude, but again, just admitted to you guys that I am sitting out on my closet floor, so more about that to come later. Welcome to Sips and Giggles. I'm here to offer all of my lack of filter, real deal BFF services. I'm talking from life crisis like, oh my God, I think I need to quit my job, to much less extreme examples like, oh my God, what should I eat? You can call your friends for the fluff and the distractions, that's fine. But I am here to deal the 3 a.m. heart-to-heart, no tolerance for the bullshit level conversation. So pour it up, whatever gets you going. It could be $7 boxed wine, coffee blacker than your soul, or for me, pre-workout, because for whatever reason, it makes me all preachy and chatty and in touch with myself. But get a good glass full because you are in for a ride. Starting this podcast was honestly an adventure, just deciding to do it. Like actually sit in my closet and start recording and just do it. Because for whatever reason, we struggle with this need for validation. You know, am I good enough? Who will listen to me? Why would they listen to me? And I find that we are now in a time and place where everyone wants to be some kind of motivator. Everyone wants to change other people's lives. There's so much movement in the idea of inspiration, in the idea of people getting back into their health and fitness and mindfulness. The amount of people, I don't care what you say about everybody being stuck to their phones, but the amount of people who are stuck to their phones who also have like some sort of meditation app on their phone or affirmation as their background on their phone, like, come on, that's pretty freaking awesome. But at the same time, it makes it really difficult for us because it feels like the world and our generation is just so saturated of people who want to do great things. And for whatever reason, it's hard to understand that we can all do it. And it's okay to want to do something great for yourself and to expand and to want to be able to help other people do it too without having that big branding thing. I hope you guys understand what I'm talking about. You know, you have the influencers out there. Maybe it's an Instagrammer who like went through this crazy weight loss transformation. And, you know, that's how you know her. And that's where she gets her validation from. You know, she lost 100 pounds, so she is the goddess. And it's just so easy to follow what she has to say when you can see it. And there are people on YouTube or motivational speakers and, you know, they were in a house fire and they got their face burnt or this crazy car accident. Everyone has this big story, this big tragedy in their life, some kind of experience that leaves us all in awe. And it captivates us, and it really works for them because that's it. You have that big story, you have an audience. They're captivated, they're ready to listen, and usually 9 times out of 10, there was some big life-changing moment in that experience that helped them understand further what they wanted to do. And they ended up moving further, and maybe they're life coaches, or maybe they're influencers online, or you're YouTubers, or authors, or speakers, whatever you want it to be. But for them, it's always that pinpoint moment that completely switched it over. And it's awesome, but you don't need that. And I think a lot of people struggle there. I've spoken to so many people, even just in the fitness industry, and that's partially because that's where I am right now. I help people with their fitness. It's a lot of what I do. It's a lot of what broke me out into creating my own brand. And people find fear in just creating an Instagram account. Casey, I really want to create just like an Instagram account to hold myself accountable to my journey. For other people to see that it's real too, to help maybe motivate one or two people on the way. That is amazing. If that is your instinct, that's something you think about, you're obviously like a bomb diggity person. But then suddenly that confidence gets worn down. But who's going to follow me? Why would anyone follow me? It's not like I have training. It's not like I already had a transformation. It's not like I'm being sponsored by this big company and suddenly you seek this crazy validation from an outside source for you to use your power and your need to motivate yourself and motivate others to make a change. And you know what? Nobody ever said, hey, I want to start that page so I can change 100,000 lives in 30 days. For a lot of these people, it starts for just small purposes, If I post every day and I feel the pressure to continue to do that, that'll be extra motivation for me to get up and work out every day. I feel that. Kudos. That helped me so much. I am that lazy girl. The hangover and the workout do not get along well together. But I also know for me, especially when I go silent on my social media, people reach out because they're so used to the consistency. So for people who want to be able to create that accountability for themselves, who want to create some kind of motivation for other people, and I'm not just talking about in fitness, it's so big. And I don't care how quote unquote saturated the market is. Do it for yourself. Do it for other people. And the more saturated it is with motivation, how terrible could our world be? Where everywhere you turn, there is some reminder of the great that you could do for yourself, for others, for your family. I struggle so hard to understand that sometimes, that we need this outside source to tell us that it is okay, to tell other people that it is okay. Or we need this outside validation of some large experience. It needs to be huge. It needs to be eye-catching, as if, we're writing the first episode of some new TV show. It needs to be sold to all these amazing people in order for anyone else to even care. It doesn't. It doesn't. If you're the type of person who has a message to spread it. You have no problem going on Facebook and venting about the president. You have no problem going on Facebook and writing the longest fucking posts about your ex-boyfriend. All of that, let me tell you, there are people who are down to read it. There are people who will scroll right past it. And there are people who are so fucking over it. But it's okay. And nobody seeks some outside source to tell them that, this is okay for you to do. You are an okay person to do this. But when we flip it to the other side, where the content could be of value to someone else, where the content could make someone else feel worth, where the content could make someone else make some kind of shift, whether it's a mental shift or just a shift in what they do in their life, suddenly we get shy. We get shy about making other people confident. We get shy about giving the advice maybe we wish we heard. And I'm not saying that everybody needs to go out there and just spread daisies everywhere and just make your whole life a highlight reel and the most inspirational quotes you can find on Google and Pinterest ever. But I'm saying that if you feel that inside of you, where is the fear coming? I don't understand. And if you need that permission, if you need that outside permission, somebody to tell you that your journey is good enough to grow, your shift, your own personal shift is good enough and valid enough for you to speak to a certain topic and help others, I give you that permission. I give you that. And you should be able to give it to yourself. If you're speaking on whatever it is, your religion, if if you're speaking on listening to the earth, if you're speaking on veganism, if you're speaking on fitness, if you're speaking on mental health, whatever it is, there's no issue with spreading those good vibes. Nobody has to give you permission to do so. And no life event has to give you that permission either. So you don't need the crazy weight loss transformation. You don't need the big tragic event where the house caught on fire and you saw your whole life flash before your eyes, and in that moment you decided to change for the better. You don't need all of that for people to listen. And honestly, you don't need the validation of knowing that people are going to listen. Create something. Go out and create. We're in this world now where we could do so much good for ourselves now and for the future generations, just by creating content that has this value that everybody wants to be able to provide, but they're afraid that they're not worthy enough. I can't share things like that on Instagram. I'm not pretty enough like these other girls. I don't have enough followers. I can't share things like that on Facebook. My family's going to think I'm nuts if suddenly I started to, speak up about what I believe in. Allow yourself to do that. It's okay to want something great for yourself. It's okay to want to share that. It's okay to feel something, to have something stir up inside of you that maybe it changed your life and you just want to share it. It's okay. Give yourself permission to share it. Jeez, I've been carrying this on my chest for so long. And when I was thinking about, okay, what is the topic of my first podcast going to be? Like, what does one talk about? I don't want to sit here and talk about me. You guys don't need to know about me. You guys don't need to know how old I am, where I live, what the weather's like. I mean, boring. I listen to podcasts all day, every day, when I'm cooking, when I'm showering, when I'm driving. And God forbid somebody went on a 30-minute rant about who they are, I would shoot myself. But right before starting this podcast, I got that little itch of who the fuck am I? Who the fuck am I to think that I can sit down and record a podcast that is worth other people listening? Who do I think I am taking my time out of my day and putting together this content and assuming that it's something worth posting about? And it took me a little bit of reflection because I'm real deep in all that woo-woo shit. Yes, I love my crystals and my sage. I love my meditation. It took me a lot of getting back into who I am at my core. It took a lot of balancing those vibes again, finding what exactly I wanted to create out of this. And it definitely wasn't a popularity contest. And then I remembered that I'm not the only one who's ever felt that way. And I got over it, so I want you guys to get over it too. It's really crazy, honestly, the shift that has happened. And I know people are listening to this and they're like, Casey, you are 22 fucking years old. Why are you talking like you've been around for all these years and you're watching all these shifts in the world? But it's so real. I remember growing up and being in like middle school and high school and just how selfish everyone and everything was. It was all about vanity. It was all about what could make you look the best and the bright lipstick colors and the hair trends. And it was really, really deep. And I remember, I wasn't a girl who, I'm not going to say I didn't have anything to worry about, but my figure wasn't one that many people felt the need to make fun of. And I still had to deal with those creeping emotions of like, oh my God, like, do I have to like stop eating? Do I have to stop drinking my chocolate milk every day in middle school? That's disgusting. Vanity was just everywhere. And it was because of a whole bunch of things. It's because of the celebrities that, my age watched at that time. It's because of the shows that were on TV, blah, 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 the media, it's all in our brains, whatever. But it's crazy to see now this new wave of self-reflecting and understanding who you are and your purpose and finding value in the way that things make you feel and going towards core desired feelings instead of just like written out goals. And it's all beautiful. And the amount of like hustle that it has created is insane, because people have realized that for so long, we've all, you grow up and you have the big goals that you want to achieve at the end of your life or at a certain time. And for some people, that's a grand and beautiful and super expensive wedding. And for other people, that's traveling all over the world. And for other people, it's creating a brand and, being able to have a creative outlet where they don't have to worry about answering to a boss. But having those goals and actually achieving them were very few and far between. A lot of people had those goals and still sat at their cubicle and behind the register, and now there's this new wave of entrepreneurs and this new wave of hustlers, and I love it. I love the word hustler. I absolutely love just the hunger and being able to work with the permanently hungry. And I think that is something that everyone needs to keep in mind, is being permanently hungry. Those goals that you have, regardless as to what they are, financial goals, health goals, family and relationship goals, whatever your goal is, Nancy Sue, it's fine. But you have to remain permanently hungry. That means not only does that goal have to drive you, but the path to creating and succeeding and accomplishing and achieving that goal has to make you so passionate and so excited. By the time that you get to that place where you're at the finish line and you're celebrating, the celebration dance isn't even that long, because you're running again, because you have another bigger and better goal. Because what happens is we get so stuck on, I want this, my goal is, maybe your goal is like your first house, that dream house. I'm tired of apartments. I'm tired of living with mom and dad. My goal, I'm hustling right now to live in a house. And we've got people driving Uber and Lyft and working overnight shifts and, closing out bar tabs real early, saving money for that house. And that's fine. And there's a moment when you get the keys to that house where you step there and you say, I made it. But that I made it moment in any goal that you accomplish, it doesn't last forever. And that's what really fucking sucks, because we realize we put all this hard work in and we start to believe in ourselves a lot more, and we start to see just how much we can accomplish and just how much we can do. And then we get to that and we're like, shit, it's a wall. What now? Like, what do I do? This doesn't feel the way I thought it would feel. I mean, it's great that I did it, but what next? Because the hunger stops there. The appetite it's good. Your tummy's happy. But instead, allowing that passion that boils up on the path to achieving that goal, finding that new power, that new work ethic, that new understanding of who you are, while you're achieving that goal, while you're working, even in the deepest parts, even in the parts where you're saying, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do this. But then you get up and you keep pushing anyway because you know how badly you want it. That shows you a whole new level of who you are. And it creates that permanent hunger in you where, yes, you go and you push and you push and you get the keys to that house and you're like, I have a fucking house. I'm going to get another one now. Or I have a house. I got to fill it with a family that's going to be full of joy and that goes and plays recreational soccer. And it's just something where you're constantly striving for something. But the thing that happens when we are constantly striving for something more is you have two options. That hustle, it could be something that energizes you. It could be something that keeps you going. It could be something that almost makes you emotional, or it could be something that breaks you every day. That hustle could make you cry tears of joy, or it could literally break your heart. And that's where that importance of, yeah, it's fine, you have that goal and you're driving towards it, but how are you driving towards it? Because I don't care what people say. There are so many different paths to one ending point. So if you don't like the path that you're on to achieve a goal, switch it. You don't like the job that you're working? Fucking switch it. I don't care if you are in the middle of your college career and paying tuition with this job. I don't care if you are 40 and like raising your family with this job. I don't care if you should have been retired, but for whatever reason you are still working because you have to or because you want to, but suddenly you realize that it is not the place for you. This path is not the one for you in whatever measure that it needs to be. Fucking switch it. Because every day we get up, we hustle, we go to bed. That's our life. That's fine. But it's only fine if the hustle itself has some kind of value. It's only fine if the hustle itself pairs up to that core desired feeling. So if that brand new house that you are working so hard to get gives you that feeling of accomplishment, but every day waking up and taking a couple more steps on that path makes you feel everything but accomplished, you're doing it wrong. And I know everyone right now is so sick of the untraditional route. Everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. Everybody wants to be a coach. Everybody wants to build their own brand. And everybody is so sick of it. But guess what? For the first time in a long time, everybody is putting their passions first. And yeah, sometimes it gets a little rough. Sometimes you have to try it again and again and again before it works. But when you are permanently hungry and you wake up every day to a hustle that gives you just the slightest bit of a taste of that core desired feeling that you are running towards, you are living the life that you are supposed to be living. If you wake up every morning and you just do the thing because you know you have a bill to pay, because you know you have a house that you want, because you know that eventually you want to travel, that endpoint is not going to feel nearly as good if the work killed you before you got to the celebration. It's not. So take some time within yourself and just understand. And I don't care what your goal is. Like I said, it could be financial, it could be physical, it could be something with your fitness, it could be in relationship, but there are so many different paths to get you there. So many different paths. So stop settling with the one that you're in right now that makes you unhappy. If you're happy in it, good. Grind your little ass off. Get to that end goal. Dance a little bit. Keep on running because you're permanently hungry and you're hustling for more because you realize how much you can do. And every time you achieve something, you see that you can achieve something bigger, which is like the biggest pat on the back you could ever give yourself. But if you are stuck in a path where walking it makes your feet hurt, where you are sweating and you just can't seem to find a break for water, where every day you wake up and you question, is that house really worth another shift? That's rough. And there isn't going to be a moment where life decides that things are going to shift for you and suddenly it's going to be great to go to work or great to start your workout or great to go see your girlfriend. Like life doesn't make that shift for you. So if you settle in to that path of bleh right now, you're in that path of bleh until you die, my dear friend. So it's okay. Like stop for a little bit, take a look around. You still have that end goal. You still have that place you want to be. You still have that destination, and it's fine. Start doing something else to get there. It might take a little longer. It might be a little harder. But all of that becomes worth it when you actually enjoy what you're doing. And you can enjoy what you're doing without the validation of other people. You can enjoy what you're doing and be true in what you're doing without having to have that traditional 9 to 5 or that traditional hour of cardio or that traditional rules of a relationship or whatever it is. This is for you. This is your life. It's not anyone else's. So I don't know who's listening in, and I really appreciate you showing up and listening to me ramble for my first podcast. But I'm speaking from the heart and from my pumping body because this pre-workout really, really has me going today. But I want everyone to understand that I will be that source. Everyone else will tell you to deal with it stick it out. Whatever other fluff bullshit that you get from your friends out there, that's fine. When you want that, go to them, call them. But when you need the 3 a.m., when you need the heart-to-heart, when you need the real talk that either really pisses you off and you shut me off, which it is okay, I promise, or it makes you sit down and really think about what you're doing with life and where you really want to go, I am here for you. Now, the podcast isn't always going to be this deep. The podcast isn't always going to be this chill. Like I said, for whatever reason, pre-workout's just supposed to get me pumped, but it gets me pumped and it gets me preachy. So, if you guys have something in particular that you want to talk about, that you want to hear me talk about, I guess, let me know. I don't care if it's from like what I eat to be healthy but not an asshole to my taste buds, because hello, girlfriend loves food, to maybe speaking to other people in my world. It is fine. Anything you guys need, I am an open book. Maybe a little bit too much of an open book. But the only way for me to properly serve you is for you to be real about what you want to hear. And I really, I can't say it enough, I appreciate you tuning in for this first episode of Sips and Giggles. I'm so fucking excited to see where this goes. Do me a favor, go into iTunes, write a review, like it, do all that fun stuff. But for right now, your girl is about 30 minutes into the podcast, which means she's about 30 minutes into her pre-workout, which means I'm going to go get my sweat on, and I need you to come back next week. Bye, everyone.